Hi YouTube world, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year to all. If it's your first time here, welcome. I am Adrienne. I live in New York City and I love playing with makeup, and it is 2023 and it is really the first time for me that I am feeling like, yes, a new year. Yes, new possibilities. I am not someone who tends to set resolutions and keep to them and stuff. Normally I find like New Year's pretty depressing, but this year I did not find it so depressing, and I just decided to change my mindset and take it day by day, and let's see what kind of different decisions I can make on a daily basis. So one of those decisions was I want to use makeup that I have and that I get quickly and kind of make a decision on them. Don't let things linger and kind of then I get confused as to whether or not I like something or don't like something. So I have a ton of e.l.f. makeup, and everything on my face is e.l.f. right now except for two products. Eyeshadow and my eyebrow pencil, but just on this side. That is Makeup Revolution, and my eyeshadow palette that I use is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, the number 2. Those two things set aside, everything else on my face is e.l.f. And I know e.l.f. is just a really loved brand, and it's an affordable drugstore brand that really tends to yield high quality products and keep their prices low. However, they are edging into the market with more products and at a bit costlier price point. So I feel like it's okay to be a bit more critical, because now they are playing in the sandbox of the other drugstore players that have already been edging up their prices. With that in mind, let's start off with one product that I had purchased long ago when it was popular and I really didn't like it. And I thought, after experiencing more products and playing around with more products, I decided, let me give it another shot and see if I can't make this work using different primers, using different application methods, see if I change my mind. And that is the e.l.f. CC Camo Cream. I have mine in the shade 205N. This is a great shade for me. From afar, looks really pretty. I feel like it canceled out enough. I don't use concealer a lot, so I do feel like it is a nice neutralizing product. My issue is that on my predominantly dry, though slightly combo in my T-zone area skin, it really lays on thick, and I have tried to lay this product on really lightly. On this side, I have more of a dewy primer. On this side, I have more of a gripping primer. And it didn't matter which side kind of the product landed on. It just feels tight. It feels tight. It's clinging to dry patches. It's exactly what happened to me the first time I tried this product. And you know, what's funny is a lot of people mention that this is a bit of a dupe for the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. And I'm gonna have to say, I think they might be a little bit right. CC Cream of IT, that one in the original formula, I've even kind of shifted on as well. As I've grown older, it's really hard to work with. I have to use very little and be very cautious and have a really super hydrated face in order for it to look nice. And this is very similar in that regard. I don't think this is for me. I feel it right now. It's so tight. It's so tight. And it was this tight even before I powdered. Now, one product that I had already really loved and gotten used to was the Halo Glow setting powder. I had mine in the shade Light, and I love it. I just think it's a great loose translucent powder that gives a bit of a, I don't know, like an effect on the skin that is really healthy, not heavy at all, but sets everything down nicely, gives you a nice velvety finish, almost like a light velvety finish. It's really, really beautiful. And I did see that e.l.f. brought out different shade in the shade Light Pink. So I wanted to see if it provided any kind of difference. Perhaps if you powder your face a lot, you would see the difference, but here I have the light pink on this side and the original on this side, and I feel like they pull very, very similarly. So I'm not sure if it's worth getting both. I will certainly happily have both, and I will get through them eventually because it's one of my favorite loose powders. I also picked up the e.l.f. Iridescent Dewy Stick. This thing here, this is nonsense. This product is nonsense. It has a really nice cooling effect. It reminds me of those sticks that Physician Formula used to have, the refreshing stick in like green. I think they had one that was for vitamin C and yellow. It just has a very cool gel effect. It calls itself a highlighter. As a highlighter, it's not there. I mean, again, it has the very cooling, nice feeling. If I put it on, all it's doing is adding wetness to the skin, and you could see it right there, but it's also breaking down product underneath, and it doesn't remain that way. You know, that kind of dewiness that it imparts, it just doesn't remain. It will evaporate and it doesn't do much. I even used it as my primer for this side of my face here, and I actually thought that it did a really nice job in adding a little more hydration to the skin. Maybe if you don't wear any makeup whatsoever and you want something that's kind of slightly glowy, the slightest bit, you could put this all over your face and it will just feel nice, but I don't know that it's giving you anything really worthwhile. Underneath this side, I tried the new Power Grip Primer with the 4% niacinamide. I got mine in a little mini size. Love that e.l.f. is coming out with mini sized products to try. And I do have to say this was very, very sticky. And I feel like with some of my other more loved foundations that have a tendency to slip, I'm thinking of the IT Cosmetics Nude Glow foundation. I feel like this could be really, really good. So I am looking forward to playing with this more. I also picked up 2 of the Monochromatic multi-sticks. These here, these are adorable. I have liked these in the past. I picked up Bronze Cherry, which I have owned in the past. That is what's on this side of the face. This one here is in Sparkling Rose. This is a really easy product to use. You can just use your finger and then stamp in some color. I would use a patting motion because if you use a pulling, rubbing motion, you're gonna really disrupt a lot. So that's Sparkling Rose. I do think it's nice, but I do think the more special color is Bronze Cherry because it's sort of this copper color, which looks intimidating, but on the skin, it's so beautiful. And the sheen in the product really gives it a lot of oomph. So that is Bronze Cherry versus Sparkling Rose. That this calls itself a multi-stick, but I do not think that this is a great color on the eyes. In terms of its staying power, it doesn't have a lot of staying power. So not for use on the eyes. And on the lips, I find that the product has too much sheen in it. It kind of gives you a frosty look, clings to a lot of patches, and for some reason, their textures are very different. The Sparkly Rose is like kind of much thicker, a little gloopier, and the Bronze Glow went on much nicer on my lips, but again, it's just sort of not really what I would want for my lips from a comfort standpoint. Although I could see myself putting on a nice lip balm and then maybe adding a tiny bit of color to it, and I think maybe that way it would work. Next up are my eyebrows. I'm actually wearing 2 different products. I'm wearing the Wow Brow on this side, and I think this is just dark brown. I had this in my collection for a while and I've loved using it in the past. But when I kind of set it side by side with the Brow Lift, which is the clear brow gel, and I set this brow with it, I much prefer the look of this eyebrow. It set the hairs really nicely, whereas this, even though it keeps it nice and soft, the color dispersed is nice, but all the little like kind of edges, they're not set down. And so kind of creates a weird fuzzy effect that I don't like. I much prefer the more, you know, smoothed down version of this. Use this in conjunction with just my Revolution Pro pencil, but really any pencil can work to just draw on a few lines, but I really like how that sets down my eyebrows. Another wonderful find is their mascaras. I have been loving for a while the Lash It Loud mascara, but I picked up this one, the Lash and Roll, which is supposed to be like the Benefit Roller Lash, which I actually do like. And I wore it today and I really, really enjoyed the process of putting it on. I felt like it did a great job in kind of coating my lashes. I found this formula to be a bit stiffer, drier than the Lash It Loud, which is sort of nice because it kind of lets you to really grab every lash versus just slide through them quickly. So I found the application process to be much quicker with this. So I do think that if you like the roller lash, you might really like this one. I was pleasantly surprised by this. Now I want to dive into the item that kind of drove me to make an e.l.f. purchase, and that is the new lipstick by e.l.f. is called the O FACE Satin Lipstick. It's this one here. I picked up my shade in Drive. It is what's on my lips right now. It's a beautiful, very NARS-like soft matte component. It has a magnetic closure, and even better, the color is indicated in the sticker on the bottom, which I adore for storage purposes, especially when you have a lot of lipsticks. So this is the shade here. I am actually wearing it with the e.l.f. Love Triangle Lip Filler Liner. I'm loving this lip liner. This is actually in the shade Mauve, but I think it did a wonderful job coordinating with this sort of brown color. I was really impressed with this. However, I was really surprised at the price point of $9 for this item, which doesn't seem like a lot. But when, again, you compare what the Seriously Satin lipsticks by e.l.f. were, you know, those were like $1, $2. I think they moved up to upwards of $3. So I thought I would do a side-by-side comparison of each and talk about the formula differences, because I feel like a lot of you come here for lip recommendations. Before I do that, I just want to make mention that this lip color Drive is really nice, and it is very, very much a dupe color-wise for Higher Self by Smashbox, which is one of my favorites. By the way, I quickly exfoliated with the e.l.f. and Dunkin collaboration. This is the Coffee Lip Exfoliator. I love it. I've always loved the lip exfoliators from e.l.f., the ones that come in a lipstick format, because they're so easy to use and they're just perfect. And I did that for a reason, because these lipsticks in particular will catch on to any kind of dry, bunched up skin on your lips. So it is a good idea to exfoliate before using this lip product. So I went ahead and I just applied that lip liner. I'm going to put on the old formula, which is the Seriously Satin. It's this lipstick here. I have mine in the shade Cider. So that is Cider there. And on the right side, I'm going to apply the new O FACE Satin formula. Obviously, these are not color for color dupes, but they're both a toasty brownie color, and I love the shade of each. Actually, this one has a little more orange in it, this one's a little more neutral rose leaning, and I think they're both very, very beautiful. The first thing I will mention is these are absolutely different formulas. So this is not a matter of e.l.f. repackaging into a fancier package and charging you a lot more, like 300% more. I want to talk about how the formula feels. Seriously Satin formula has a lot more tug, almost as though there's a lot more wax in it than the new O FACE Satin formula. This one feels like there's a bit more slip, there's a little bit more hydration, and it feels thinner than the Seriously Satin formula. Additionally, because of that, the way that it sits on the lips and moves with your lips The Seriously Satin, my lip lines are so much more pronounced. I feel like the O FACE Satin formula is much more flattering than the Seriously Satin. They both have equal wear time, so this is a product that will wear down nicely, but you'll have to reapply. And what I do find with both products is over time, they can be quite drying. So you definitely want to hydrate your lips. If they're feeling dry, maybe just wear a lip gloss on top or a lip balm to help nourish those lips. I do think they both have a similar finish, so you would call this a satin finish. They have a nice slight sheen to them, but not overly detracting, and you could easily, you know, pass this off as a comfort matte too. I feel like if you wear some of the mattes out there from high-end brands, they actually are a bit more satin than they are just full-on mattes. And I'm thinking of like the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution formula. So I do think that if you invested, you know, at this price point, you would not be unhappy. It seems as though they came out with some very thoughtful shades. And so I do think it's a really nice upgrade from their previous lipstick. Oh, the only other product I didn't mention that I used was the Cookies and Dream No Budge eyeshadow stick in white. I actually use that as the base for my eyeshadow, and I do like it. It does neutralize my eyelid so that shadows appear more vivid, and I do feel like it does control some of my oils. It's a perfectly good eyeshadow primer, but not in the summertime when, you know, I'm sweating a lot or my eyelids get very oily. And that's all I really wanted to share. I hope that this was helpful to you. I know that when I see e.l.f. has new products or there's a sale, I find like I can get a lot for my money if I plan properly and wait for one of those sales. So that's what I did here. And I hope you all appreciated the variety of products I discussed. I hope everyone is kicking off this new year in a great way. Stay safe, and we will talk soon. Okay, take care, everyone.